What's up everyone? Welcome back to the workshop. Today I'm going to go through the full assembly of this subwoofer that we've been cutting out all the parts for. I'll start out a little bit with my method. Since I don't have CNC'd parts with recessed dados, I use PL Premium. It's a construction adhesive and it expands a little bit as it cures. So you can be a little bit off with your woodworking, but you can still get an airtight seal on these joints. And so every joint will get a bead of PL Premium along the entire edge. I like to open it up at a 45-degree angle, and I'm aiming to make a hole that's about the size of a nail, because when this is not in use, I'll stick a nail in it and wrap it with a plastic bag, and that helps keep it from hardening. It's not exactly the most fun thing to work with, but it does a really good job of holding cabinets together. When the weather is warmer, it will cure quicker, but it'll be a lot more runny. And then the opposite is true in the winter when it's cold. It'll be more viscous, easier to work with, but it will take a lot longer to cure. It has a tendency to want to continue to leak out of the tube even after you've done and you've released the pressure on the gun. PL Premium is really going to be the real thing that holds this cabinet together, but I'm going to do some other things to make sure that none of the pieces are moving around as it cures. And also I do like to drive screws into the cabinet as well, just for a little peace of mind. And PL Premium is not invincible. If you're storing your cabinets out in a trailer and they're going through all the 4 seasons and extreme weather, you can't just rely on the adhesive. It's nice to have some mechanical fasteners in it. So I'll run the PL Premium. I'll usually tack the piece in place with some finishing nails, and then I'll add some screws. I wanted to make a note on those finishing nails. You want the nail gun to be perpendicular to the piece of wood that you're nailing. The finishing nails have a tendency to either hook off to the left or to the right, and you could potentially have blowout on either side if you have the gun parallel to your wood surface. And I'm going to try to show you that. I am doing this at an extreme angle just to try to make sure it happens, but it can happen even if you're pointing the gun straight down. So that's the method. Now let's get into the actual building. I'm going to highlight the pieces that I'm working on, especially while I'm flipping them around on different axes and different orientations. But once the cabinet is sitting on my sawhorses, I'll probably just caption which piece I'm adding. We'll start with the baffle piece G and attach the braces J. I'll go through some of these first ones slowly, and then towards the end of the video I'll probably just time lapse a lot of this once you get the idea of what I'm doing. We'll add PL Premium to all the joining surfaces, and you want to make sure that if you have added these threaded T-nuts, you want to make sure that they're on the side that these brace pieces are going to go on. We'll put them in place and tack them in with a finishing nail just to make sure that the piece doesn't move while the adhesive cures. Do that for both of the brace pieces. Line them up with the bottom. Then I'll flip the piece and add some more finishing nails to the other side. Next we'll add panel K. I'll add PL Premium to all these joints, including on top of the brace J pieces. I'll add finishing nails. And then I've rotated the camera. You can see that it's not quite at a 90-degree angle. I'll add some screws to pull this in, and I'll check for square on both sides. Next, we'll add the M braces. I'll flip my sub-assembly, run a bead of PL Premium, and attach both of the M braces. I'll tack in place with some finishing nails, and then I'll flip it and add some screws. So we're working on our sub-assembly. Now I'm going to start to work on the actual shell, the outer shell of this speaker. I'm going to attach panels A and B, one side, and the top panel B. The entire joint gets PL Premium. I've got some squares clamped onto this panel B. I'll shoot some finishing nails at either corner to make sure that the panel's not moving around. I'm going to try to show this, but there's just like a little tiny gap between these panels, and it's going to save you a lot of time in the finishing process if you can get good glue squeeze out along this entire joint. And some wood shops have a million clamps. I don't have a million clamps. So what I'll do is I'll tighten down a clamp and shoot some finishing nails on either side of it to hold it in place. And I'll work my way down the line. I'm pretty liberal with using these finishing nails. I'll shoot them every 5 centimeters or so. And I won't add screws to this joint because at the end I want to round over these corners. And it's one thing if your router hits a little finishing nail, it tends to just take it right off. But I don't want to hit an entire screw head with the router. And I'll kind of pan down. You can see there's good glue squeeze out along the entire joint. And then you can scrape this at any point once the PL Premium has cured. If you start to do this and it's still gooey at all, it's too early. Don't mess with it while it's gooey. It should be pliable but solid. And if you wait too long, it's not a big deal. It just makes it harder to actually cut. I've found that with average temperatures, 2 to 3 hours is probably the sweet spot for it being solid but still easy to work with. Next, we'll make a sub-assembly of the turn panel F and the front brace R. This is a very visible joint on this design, especially the way I'm doing it. We're doing a black exterior but a polyurethane finish on the interior, so wood grain look on the inside. That means I need to keep these joints really clean because they're going to be very visible. If you're painting the whole box black, this isn't a big deal, but I've taped off either side of this joint and I'm removing some of the excess PL Premium. Put these panels in place, and then I just kind of put some boards across the top and a couple 5-pound weights to hold everything down while the glue cures, making sure that they're at a right angle. And then once the PL Premium's cured, I'll flip this board over and shoot a couple finishing nails. Then we're gonna put this whole sub-assembly together. And I do this inside of the shell that we made, panels A and B. I'm not attaching these yet. I'm just kind of dry fitting them in place to make sure that everything is lining up. We'll run PL Premium along braces J and also turn panel K and glue in that F and R sub-assembly we just made. And then in this design, I am going to add some acoustic foam on the interior. I'm using 1-inch acoustic foam. I think you could probably get away with not even really doing this, but it's just generally good practice when you're doing a vented enclosure to try to line the inner chamber with acoustic foam. It helps tame some of the resonances. This area is difficult to get to once these panels are installed, so I'm going to go ahead and add this foam now. It does have an adhesive backing, but I don't like to rely on just adhesive. I'm going to staple it in place on the corners and in the middle. And I'll do the same thing on the interior of panel B. And we're getting ready to install this sub-assembly. When I had the pieces dry fit in the shell, I traced where they were going to be. And now I'm drilling holes through them initially, because that's going to help me identify on the underside where I'm going to drive screws. It's kind of difficult when you're just looking at these panels from underneath where you're trying to hit. So I traced the lines where my wood is. I drilled a couple pilot holes. Then I'll flip the shell over and I'll strike a straight line between my screw holes. That way I can shoot some finishing nails along this line and should hit the wood. Now it's time to glue this into place. We're going to do the whole sub-assembly. Every joining surface gets PL Premium, and I'll tack this sub-assembly into place with finishing nails. And if I like how it's lining up, I'm going to add the front panel C. And then once all that is in place, then I'll go ahead and I'll go under the cabinet and I'll add my screws. Yeah, if you'll see here, I already have some of these pieces pre-painted, at least a couple of these edges. It's because it's gonna be a twin of this other one that I did last year. So this is meant to be 2 of 2, so I'm building them identically. So a lot of the design considerations I'm making is really just to mirror this other one that I built. This is a close-up of when I put the front panel seat on. You can see there's kind of a little tiny gap around the edge, maybe a millimeter or so. And I'm gonna go through and run clamps and shoot finishing nails to make sure that I have squeeze out all along this edge, save myself some extra work during the finishing steps. And now I'm under the table. I'm happy with how everything was fit. I'm gonna go ahead and screw everything in. Then we're gonna work our way back. We'll add the brace pieces S, at least 2 of them. I think there's 6 of these brace pieces. We're gonna add 2 at the bottom because it's easy to do right now. Then we'll add the main brace L. And I really don't like having the sandwich in pieces. It's a little messier when you're trying to glue them into place and they're sliding down and drooping, but this is really unfortunately the easiest way for me to get these other brace pieces in. I will glue either end of the braces and sandwich them in between these pieces and try to tack them in place with finishing nails. Next up, we'll do the vent panel H, which is on the bottom. Once again, all surfaces get a bead of PL Premium. We're gonna add the corner braces N, checking for square, adding finishing nails and screws. Now it's time to add the back panel. If you have PL Premium that has cured in an area where you need to add a panel, that's okay. I'm just chiseling it out right here. I'm showing you I'm about to add the back panel, but there was some PL Premium in the way. I remove it with a chisel. And then I'll do the vent dividers. These are panels I. I have these spacer blocks. It might actually be easier if you flip this cabinet upside down and use gravity with you instead of against you. It might be better to do it that way. I have these like spacer blocks that are the right size for this, so I'm just resting them on these blocks. Really taking my time to check for square. These are going to be very visible in this design, especially because I'm doing a wood grain finish on the interior. I really want to make sure everything is perfectly square. Then it's time to add the bottom panel. Same process that I've done for everything else. And now it's time to seal up the cabinet. If you were following along with when I was cutting the wood for this, I left this panel slightly oversized. It's just a little bit of insurance in case something is slightly out of square. I think I don't remember exactly what the numbers are, but if you're on a 3-foot radius, these cabs are 3 feet tall. So on a 3-foot radius, if you're out of square by a degree, I think you end up being off by like 1/8 of an inch down at the other end. So this panel is cut slightly oversized, and fortunately for me, everything was nice and square for this. So I just have to cut off a little bit on all the edges. With this panel just clamped in place, I'll reach in here and I will trace a line where all the pieces of wood will meet on the interior. And that's gonna let me know where I can drill some pilot holes so that I can add screws. And now we're gonna seal it up. Every single joining surface needs PL Premium. If you're this far along in such a large build, make sure you have an extra tube of adhesive on hand. I was so close. I made it to the very last joint. I ran out of glue on the very bottom panel and had to switch out for a new tube of PL Premium. Unfortunately, I had to open up another one, but that's okay. If you run out of adhesive in the middle of this step and you don't have another one on hand, I would say just let it cure and then scrape the whole thing off and try again. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but you can't just leave one of these unglued. And that's it. That's the entire assembly process, at least how I do it. Everything from here on out is going to be finishing work, and I hope you follow along for that as well. Thanks for tuning in.